Hi, welcome to Think Human. I'm Chris, and in this video, I want to talk about the touchy subject, and that would be wealth inequality. That, for some reason, is a touchy subject for some people, but I think it shouldn't be, and I think this is something that we should think about and speak about. And the only way that this would ever change is that if we think about it and if we talk about it. So, we find ourselves in this world that capitalism has brought us so many great things, and I'm not here to bring you like communism or something like that. Capitalism is a system that works for certain things and obviously doesn't work for other things. Everything is not equal, and definitely 100% the world that we live in is not fair. It's not equal, no matter which way you put it. There are plenty of people, and I find this paradoxical and sort of, I wonder, like these people, poor people, more or less poor people, who defend the rich. And I guess this is from the kind of American dream that they kind of deep down hope to be rich one day, and so they're defending the rich, and I'll one day be rich, and then don't say bad things about the rich people. But there certainly are many people who really do work hard, and they're really smart and talented, and they create the company, they create the business, they take risks, and then after a lot of hard work, they finally get lucky, and indeed get lucky, and make it something. And it can either be a small business or a medium-sized business or a big, huge corporation, like some of these giant companies that we see in our society today. And it's like the rich get richer, and the same way is with corporations and organizations, and often they have owners, and the owners of such establishments are really wealthy people, such as Bill Gates, the owner of Microsoft, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, and who was the other guy? Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, great guy, actually wants to leave all his entire vast wealth to charity once he passes. These three people living in the US, having US companies, these three have more wealth than the bottom half of the entire country. So, three people owning more wealth than over 150 million people. That is more than insane. That is insanity. It's like, it is so odd and bizarre, and I'm sure you've heard something like this before. It's not probably news to you that some absurdity like this of wealth inequality is going on, but for some reason there's like not the strong impact anymore, and I wonder why that is. And I want to say that like that is not okay. It's not fine. It is not fine that we've gotten used to this sort of level of wealth inequality. It is absurd. It is beyond absurd. Another fun stat is that 8 richest people in the world have more wealth than the bottom 3.8 billion people on the planet. So think about this. 8 human beings, like you and me, made of flesh and blood. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people having more wealth than 3.8 billion people. If that is not unfair, then I don't know what is. You can say anything you want, but if you earn enough money that you can have food on your table, and you can have some luxuries for yourself and buy some things that you want, and you have a roof over your head. If you earn enough money for that, then you're doing well. If you earn twice that, you are doing really well. If you earn 5 times that, 10 times that, then you're like really successful. But if you earn like 100,000 times that amount of money, if you earn 1,000,000 times that, more than you could spend in a lifetime, then we're not talking anymore about real life. This is like a different category of existence. This is no longer doing really well. This is entire another beast that we're talking about. These people who own, let's say, like 1,000,000 times more than you would spend in a normal month of whatever you have. So people protecting the rich, right? And Sure, there's talent and hard work that goes into it. I have no doubt about it. And the people who have these gigantic corporations, they had to come up with some brilliant idea and put some work into it. Absolutely, 100%. But I am not convinced that these people are so different from you and me. For everyone that broke through and got incredibly successful, for every one of these incredibly mega wealthy people, there are thousands and thousands of people who are just as smart, were just as determined, that wanted it just as badly, but just didn't get it. A tremendous huge part of this is luck. It's being in the right place at the right time, and it's not their personal merit. Wealth, how much wealth you have, has got, we're talking about these mega rich people, has got nothing to do with how much value they have as a human being. If Bill Gates wasn't the one to create Microsoft, someone else would have been in his place. If Jeff Bezos wouldn't have created Amazon, someone else would be in his place. It's the market. It's the rich get richer. It's like you come up with this revolutionary thing, like scientific discoveries. Like if Einstein wouldn't have discovered general relativity and special relativity, someone else would have discovered it. So undoubtedly, same talent and same skill and all of that hard work and everything that goes into it. It's just so bizarre, this world that we live in, and all I really want to do with this video is just make someone think about it, like the wealth inequality, that this is a very real thing. And like if someone is earning so incredibly much, like they're not, like if someone earns like 1,000 times what you earn, they're not 1,000 times better than you as a human being. That's impossible. They don't work 1,000 times more hours than you. They're not 10,000 IQ points or 1,000 times more creative than you. No, that's not possible. We're all human beings, we're people. So there is definitely this thing of rich getting richer. Like if you have a lot of wealth, then you can use your money in ways that someone who's just living to paycheck, it would be impossible for them to use it in that kind of ways. Buying some expensive house, then doing something with it, selling it for profit, investing in things, investing in companies and startups. There's so many ways in this world where you can use money to make more money, given that you already have a lot of money. Poor people, well, normal people, don't have that option. And I think it's perverted understanding, thinking that these rich people deserve to be as rich as they are. No human being should have the amount of wealth that they have more money than like entire countries. If you have more money, to stop the economy of a big country for like a year, if you have that kind of money, like that is absurd, and that is our fault as human beings, how we let such things happen. That is like beyond me. But of course, in another way of looking at this, of course you see that like slow and steady path of capitalism, how it grew over time to become what it is. In history as well, there have been incredible monopolies. One more thing to mention is that most people have no idea how unequal this world we live in is. Most people think that the ratio of like a normal worker versus like a CEO of a business is like 1 to 10. And if they're asked what the ideal ratio is, they would say something like 1 to 5. It's like fair enough. The owner of a company earns 5 times what the normal employee earns, because they take all the risks, they come up with the idea. Most people have no idea that the real ratio is like 1 to tens of thousands in really big companies. So I think the perception of that is also kind of diluted. I mean, just misinformed, I suppose. But even across the board, even with such low estimates, 1 to 10, people still think that the wealth inequality could be better, could be improved, could be lower. But yeah, like, this is just ranting about wealth inequality. But, I hope you get my point. Like, this is a crazy world that we live in. And, this system that we're in has served us well enough to get where we are now, but I don't think going forward we could continue with this. there was this thing about Facebook, having a monopoly, like getting too big, and people talking about breaking Facebook up because it's like incredible, like half the world is on Facebook, like incredible company, what it does with the data of all these human beings, what one person can do with like the entire world pretty much effectively. And I think this would only increase. Like Jeff Bezos, Amazon, like he's not going to stop. Like he's not gonna stop tomorrow and say like, I'm good, I have enough money to live comfortably now, like this is all I wanted, I reached my trillion amount of money and now I'm good, this is all I wanted. I give this part of my money to charity and I'll go start my own thing somewhere or do whatever, and it's all good. I give something back to the world where I have taken so much from, but also given, I guess, because obviously Amazon has made life easier, we get things and so on, so like fair enough. But still, for one person to accumulate such vast amounts of wealth, and for the entire company of Amazon to pay zero in taxes, that's just ridiculous that it's possible for a company to do that. Company that's earning billions and billions, and does it make trillions? Probably not trillions, but hundreds of billions. And you pay zero in taxes. What do you and I pay? I don't live in the US, but what do you and I pay in taxes? I pay 20%. Jeff Bezos pays nothing, except for his like tiny expenses that he goes on in his everyday life, I suppose. But it is absurd, and anyone who doesn't get or doesn't understand or doesn't think that this is absurd and still defends these mega rich people, yeah, they earned it, they earned trillions of times, they earned for like, that is not reasonable. I have nothing against rich people, even if you're like a millionaire, like that's cool, you made a company, you contributed to society, made a product, came up with some inventive idea, cool, and now you get paid for this, and you made this stuff, cool. But then millions, you have a few millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, 1 billion, 10 billion, hundreds of billions, trillion, 1 trillion, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know where exactly, but Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all of them have trillions of dollars, and we just made this count from million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, trillion. Trillion is much bigger amount of money than a million ever could be. But of course millions do get to be billions and trillions, but that it's absurd. That's really what I want to say, that it is absurd, and we should look at it as what it is. We should be like, what the hell, like this is not normal. No, if we were on an island with like 100 people, and you go away for like a little bit, for a week, like you go do something whatever on another island or something, and you come back and one person has like all the food and like all the valuable things and like everything this one person has, and all the other 98 people on the island are like barely getting by. Some of them are doing okay, but like most of them are like barely getting by. And this one person has all the stuff. Like you'll be like, what the fuck? How you let that happen? Like what's this guy doing? It's crazy. How you let that? This like. No, it wouldn't go like that. No, so our world has gotten so out of hand. I think that's the thing. But it's like, who's exactly to blame? Like, people are corruptible, and sadly, people going into politics, aren't the people you want going into politics, and the people you would want to go into politics and make these choices and lead the world and shape the world. They're not the ones who want to go into politics, so it's a weird place you find ourselves in. I, however, want to have faith in humanity, that we, get their shit together, So I do believe in that. There are many things to think about here, but this is just, wealth inequality. It's absurd. It's crazy. And yeah, I think the first step to doing anything about it is to think about it, to be aware of it, and to talk about it. And whenever you communicate with someone about it, don't just be like, that's just the way it is. No, I think we have to be upset about it, and we should treat it as what it is, a tragedy, unfairness, which it is. So this is all I wanted to say about this, at least for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was some interesting thoughts in here for you, and if you have any ideas, please share them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.